Have you ever had the urge to eat something that wasn't food, whether it be dirt or fabric? Well, that's what people living with pica experience every day. Pica is an eating disorder that involves eating items that are not typically thought of as food and that do not contain significant nutritional value, such as hair, dirt, and paint chips. Eating foods like these are thought to bring satisfaction and comfort when being eaten. It can be divided into 3 categories: earth, raw starches, and ice. While pica can affect anyone at any age, it is mainly common in children, with around 10 to 30% from ages 1 to 6 being diagnosed with it. However, it was present in 4% of men and women in the United States as well. The cause of pica isn't certain, but what we do know is that it can be categorized biologically, psychologically, and socially. Some biological factors include mineral or other deficiencies in one's diet. Iron, calcium, and zinc deficiencies are some of the most common reasons people show these signs. Certain findings suggest that temporal lobe damage or degeneration might also lead to pica. Some researchers also believe that abnormally low levels of dopamine in the brain can cause pica because eating these foods can bring happiness and satisfaction to the brain. A psychological cause could be a co-occurring mental disorder such as schizophrenia or an intellectual disability. Environmentally and socially, pica could be caused by stress, emotional trauma, maternal deprivation, family issues, parental neglect, pregnancy. The list could go on. Cultural or learned behaviors could also play a role. As you might have already guessed, some symptoms of pica are wanting to eat things that aren't food, thinking about eating things that aren't food, and actually going through the process of eating things that are not food. The process can start small, such as eating foods like ice, then can go to even worse objects, like feces and sharp objects that can harm the digestive system when ingested. This is extremely dangerous for the person with pica, as it can lead to death, which is why there are certain kinds of therapy someone can go through to help with that. In biomedical therapy, iron supplements will often be prescribed to people with pica. In psychotherapy, it teaches people coping mechanisms and strategies to help them change their behavior. People also learn to avoid pica behaviors by focusing on other behaviors and activities. There are many different stories involving people with pica, but these are just a few. Cindy Dermay used to eat the pages of books she used to read in school up until maybe university. She'd also eat cotton and fabric because of the texture of the material in her mouth. Eventually, Cindy moved on to hair, which meant that she had to continuously keep cutting her hair in order to prevent herself from eating it. Through therapy, Cindy has been able to not fully recover, but to recover enough to stop swallowing non-food items. Michel Lotito suffered from pica ever since he was 16 after swallowing a piece of glass in a swimming pool. Since then, Lotito has been using his medical condition as an entertainment career and even went on record to eat a Cessna 150 light aircraft, which took a whole 2 years to eat. Ever since her parents' divorce, Adele Edwards has been eating sofas. This has been going on for about 21 years, and the stress brings her back to eating the foam. It has caused major blockage in her intestines, and Adele now takes iron supplements and goes to therapy to help get rid of her need. An 18-year-old had to get 10 pounds of her own hair removed after having pulled out and eaten her own hair for 5 years. A condition called trichophagia, which is the repeated ingestion of hair, can be attributed to pica. This caused stomach pain and vomiting and called for a surgery to remove all of the hair. After going to behavioral therapy, she has recovered and has been eating normally. Bianca, starring on My Strange Addiction, was eating pottery and clay regularly for as many months. Once the effect of the pottery wore off, she moved on to eat cigarette ashes. Bianca enjoys the feeling of the ashes and gets them from her sister who smokes. These people have been struggling with pica for so long, but there are actions they, or anyone, can take to help this eating disorder. The National Alliance for Eating Disorders focuses on educating the public about eating disorders and support for all individuals experiencing eating disorders and their loved ones. They help anyone with any eating disorder and lead them to the right direction to get help. If you or a loved one are thought to have pica, this is a great organization to get the right aid. It's important to learn about pica because it can cause a major issue in the body, affecting the person physically. Consuming non-food items isn't safe for anyone, even if it doesn't seem like it's making a huge difference on the body. It can also affect the person mentally and socially, creating all-around negative relationships in their lives with those around them.